Hey y'all, this is Farel Dalrymple with the next set of daily drawings. Daily drawings numbers 287 through 294, and then I tack a little thing at the end that's just like me sketching in a book. But this first one up it's kind of like a redo of a etching that I did in Popgun War in my first graphic novel. I was when I took the reference photo at my friend Esau's house out of his back window in Brooklyn, and like I don't know, like 2000 or 1999 or something like that. And I was looking around to see if I still had the pictures, but I couldn't find them. So I just kind of looked at the old drawing or the old etching and added a few buildings to it. And I inked this whole thing with a brush. And this is bigger than my regular daily drawings because it was a friend of mine kind of commissioned this or asked me to do this. So I decided to make it something a little bigger and more involved. And as you know, cityscapes and stuff, especially if it's like, oh, I've already drawn that drawing, it's a lot easier for me to do that than kind of come up with a new idea every time. So this was a lot of fun, actually. I kind of like adding all the little texture and stuff to the buildings, and kind of set me on a nostalgia memory trail there. This next one up is the what is it? The King of Swords? Ace of Swords, that's right. Sorry for me to read because the little recording thing's in the way. But yeah, this is a character from the Wrenchies. Because in the Wrenchies, this character here, I called him Goat, like greatest of all time. I know it's not super original, but I named him after my friend, childhood friend, growing up, Brian Scott O'Keefe. So yeah, his name is Brian. But he basically in the Wrenchies, he was like the greatest swordsman in the world. And this is kind of weird too, because it's not, this first part anyway isn't a time lapse. It's like, for whatever reason, I was like, I'll just do this first little bit in real time. And so you can kind of see actually how long these things take me. It's usually a lot longer than 20 minutes. If I can get something close to an hour, under an hour, I feel pretty good about it. But yeah, I kind of did a sort of hybrid between just, I want to like my character, my world, and then the old Rider Waite deck, a sort of more like popular, famous tarot deck. So yeah, this explains the crown and that kind of stuff, the laurels coming off the crown. But I think there was like, on the King's, there was, or the Ace of Swords, there was like a hand coming out of a cloud. So that's why I had these sort of like misty cloud things. I thought it would be kind of nice to have like a little moodiness to this one, to sort of have him in repose. I don't know what you call that, just sort of like in a relaxed position, and instead of like an action pose, like he's getting ready, or he's sort of transcendent or something. I don't know. He survives the story, spoiler warnings, but that's the only appearance he's made too, is in the Wrenchies. It's like his one and only featured area, but I like that character. Seems like it'd be a fun guy if he were real. Okay, so this next one here, it's another tarot card. It's the Eight of... Oh, okay, is this the one I messed up on? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, no, this one's good. So it's the Eight of Cups. One of these ones I added an extra cup on. I think I did 2 in a row that I messed up on, but this one's good. And this one I really liked, especially this phase, the inks, the pencils and the inks. I thought looked really good. To me, I don't, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just saying I enjoyed them. But I think by the time it was finished, it lost a little something, maybe like the contrast or something, because I had the dark figure in the foreground. But here you can see some kind of midway process shots, and then I went back in and worked it a little more, and I darkened up all those rocks, which I don't know if that was a mistake too. I just I don't know. This is one of those ones where it was like started out great and didn't end disastrous. Like I'm happy overall with it, but it definitely lost something in the translation that I just couldn't quite figure out. But I like the pose, I like the character, and the way that I rendered the cloak and stuff. Yeah, and I think some of these things too, I'm a little, I wouldn't say stymied. Oh yeah, you can see too, I did a little brush flick with white paint for the waves crashing there on the rock. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. So this is the one I messed up here, where I had the nine of cups, but as you can see in this drawing, if I couldn't see, but maybe you could, someone pointed out to me on Instagram that there are actually 10 cups there. So I thought when that was pointed out to me, I was like, well, maybe I'll just, I'll take off one of those cups and then, yeah, and then it'll be 9 cups. So I thought maybe I would just take off the I. So I'd be like, oh, just make it 10 of cups. But then looking at the original card, it's kind of, the 10 of cups looked like something else entirely, and the 9 of cups looked more like this. So I just figured I'll just paint over the other cup. And you can see once we're done with the time lapse here, I'll show you both versions. And actually, I was pretty happy because when I'm painting with it wet like this, the colors I feel look really deep and nice. But once it dries, sometimes it gets a little washed out feeling. So you'll see what I mean here. Like after I painted over, I feel I was able to go back in with some deeper red, alizarin crimson, and really, I don't know. I keep saying deep, but just make it a little more lush, I guess is what I'm trying to say, color-wise. Okay, so this next one here is, this is the 10 of cups. And that other one I must have messed up, must have been the one before. It must have been the 8 of cups. I think what it was like, I listed it as 8 of cups, but it was 9 of cups, or listed as 7 of cups, but it was 8 of cups. I don't know. I did something, but that was an easy fix because I just had to change the numbers or something. So there's my cat. Yeah, and that last one, the cups one, it was, I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about that one, I guess. That's why I put my cat in there. All right, so this one here, this is a character I've used a few times already, for these cards even, I think, too. Her name's Gwen, and she was in the second volume of Popkin War. And she's been in a couple of these stories I have with her and Emily from Popkin War, and Almendra Clementine, who I call her Clementine in my Popkin War world, but when she's like in It Will Hurt, Reggie's world, she's Almendra. And it's like her first name, but Clem's like her middle name. So for some reason she goes by her middle name, and she's like kind of in the more magical realism world rather than the post-apocalyptic fantasy. And so this one I loosely based off the Rider-Waite deck, but I thought, because I wanted her, I just kind of thought of her as like, she seems perfect for this particular card, the Queen of Cups. So I wanted to just do like a simple drawing of her walking. And I was like, oh, I'll have her holding her magic book and a cup. And I kind of based the cape off the old tarot card cape that the Queen's wearing in that one. This one here seems to be one of the more well-liked ones that I've done, and I really like it too. It's probably my favorite of this batch here. And it took me a while to do, I think, because just trying to get those blacks. I wasn't sure at first when I started. You can see I'm kind of doing this like sort of rendering thing. I was like, oh, I've kind of faded up to a gray from black to gray. And then at some point I just kind of lost interest. I was like, I'll just have it be all black. And I kind of wanted his sort of spirit rising out of the knight's armor. But you can see here that I didn't quite get the blacks right deep enough there. And then I went back and you can see here they're a lot more smooth and matte. So it seemed like that's what took me the longest time. And this one here is I think it's the penultimate one here. It's someone asked me to do a Alice in Wonderland and said I could do whatever I wanted. So I thought I'd do the tea party, but I wanted them all standing, so they're kind of like standing on the table. It's like there's a scene there where they dunk the dormouse, the March Hare and the Mad Hatter dunk the dormouse in some tea. So it's like, oh, this kind of have them all just standing on the table, like post dunk, and he's like drinking it, saying treacle, because there's a whole conversation or story and revolving around treacle, which I'd never heard of before I read that book. And I don't know, that's just like my favorite scene. It's hilarious. Like you don't really get the hilarity of it, I don't think, with like the Disney movie or like different film adaptations I've seen. That the book is the best. And okay, and this is the last thing. I just threw in a little sketch here that I just did today of Almendra from It Will Hurt. Someone bought this book off me off my Patreon, so thought I'd include this here. Yeah, if you want to check out these daily drawings, it's Farel Dal is my Instagram. I have a Patreon where you can like request drawings or buy any of these daily drawings that I have available on there. And thanks for watching these videos, and I appreciate you guys checking it out. Bye.